right, we rolling. This is Mondays and
What up,
Tuesdays. You feel me? We got Scott from Mission Skateshop in this bitch.
Hey,
this is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know about Mission
honored.
Skateshop, but it's OG. One of my I got some core memories there, you know, art shows and shit. But one of the things that I like the most that rings in my head about Mission Skateshop is walking back and forth from the coop, from Dirty Pigeon, or late night, early morning, whatever, going to the skate park and just seeing that photo of Bod, that cover of Bod, just up in the is it still up in
that
the
front blunt or which one? Which
it
one
was his. I think it was his cover. It was just
his Thrasher cover.
Yeah, and it was just in the window.
What was that like little front edger or some crazy thing? That was I was just thinking about that recently because I saw that you did I was looking at your page on the podcast and I saw you had him and Sean and Fatty up and I was like thinking about Peabody, just an ill one, dude. And that cover was just
you just started thinking of all the years, you know? Right?
I never really met him, only like in passing a few times, but I never got to really ever kick it with him. But man, he just seems like a sick one, you know? He
is always on the sick one. He's fucking hella serious, but also hella family style.
Yeah.
So it's like always cool to chop it up with him and shit.
Right.
You never know what you're gonna get from him, but it ain't never mad disrespectful. And see, that's the thing about you. You've been. How long has Mission Skate Shop been there for?
Well, the store was open by Thorin in 2007. He's a homie from like high school days.
Okay, that was you and him. Y'all opened it together.
No. I was just the guy like that. I saw him one night. We were out, and he's like, "What's up, man? Opened up a skate shop," and I was like, "For real?" Yeah. I mean, I was like, "Wow, okay." Yeah, we were just kicking it one night, like drinking over on, in the L's or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where's it at?" He's like, "It's on 2-4 in the Mission." And I'm like,
damn.
"Okay, you got to understand like where I'm from."
Hold on, what year?
So this was 2007, early like
2-4 in 2007.
Right, and so you got to understand like through my mind, growing up in the city and kind of like I'm from the other side, and like I'm really not that familiar with the Mission. We didn't really go out there. It wasn't like a thing for me. I stayed like downtown, so like Market was kind of like the line almost, where I would stay on the whole other side of the city. You know what I mean? Like I'd be out in the Avs, I'd be out in Golden Gate Park,
skating and shit.
Oh yeah, skateboarding. Yeah. That was those were like my little spots. Points, from where I started in the marina.
When did you start skating? When did you actually start skating? When did you pick up a board?
So I first started skating. I got a board from my older brother one time. I was at his house in Berkeley, and I would kind of hit like in the summer. My dad would just kind of like send me over to my brother and sisters. They lived apart too at that time. They were older. And I was at his house. I was bored or something. He had a bunch of skateboards, like those kind of old, smaller ones from like, what is that, like the 70s maybe?
Okay, yeah.
With the kind of bigger Bennett trucks and some big OJs.
Okay.
So they weren't too old, but they were pretty old, like kind of thick-ass boards.
Okay.
And so he said, "You want to try a skateboard?" So I got it out in front of his house, just me by myself, and I started kind of like getting it. And I was like, damn. I surprised myself. And I think maybe even that first time I tried, I like dropped off a curb at the bottom of his little tiny hill.
Yeah.
Maybe not even a hill. I don't want to like put much on it. You know what I mean? But it did it for me. It was like, how people talk those stories like, being in the skate shop, I hear a lot of stuff about skateboarding.
Yeah.
But one of the things, you hear it all the time. It's like, I tried skateboarding one time, I busted my ass, and that was it. Because a lot of times it's like you busted your ass, or you kind of had one of those comeback experiences. And I had one of those comebacks. Like, I think he probably gave me that board. I took it back to the city, and
so you just like, bro, I need this, like type shit.
I was kind of hooked.
Using it. Yeah.
I was kind of hooked. I was like, this is fun. I was the only child, and I kind of thought this is. I was into basketball. I was like into organized sports growing up, but this was kind of like cool. And that's when I started going to Marina Middle School, and all of a sudden there was people skating there, and I didn't even know that this was a thing.
You hadn't even paid it. You
didn't even know, and I was like, oh damn, this dude skates, and then we kind of had our own little crew. All of a sudden, we're all trying to learn to skate together, just like 3 or 4 of us, maybe 5 on the weekends, just trying to get it.
What was the name of the crew?
I mean, that we didn't really even have a name back then. We were just so new, but we were just like. We were trying to,
That's
just
sick,
the dudes that went to Marina, you know what I mean? And we were just the.
And at this time,
day one.
What was your first, being that you probably set up so many boards now, what was your first board that you set up for yourself? Not like the one that you got from your brother.
Right.
Like the one that you finally was like, nigga, this is it. I'm lit now.
I think it was this Probably. Well, my dad bought me a board for Christmas one year because I told him I need a big board because I realized that the little boards were out. You know, the little one my brother gave me, and so he bought me a Lance Mountain board.
Pops did.
And I'm gonna go date myself with this one. Yeah, Pops did. Probably at like Skates on 8.
Damn.
You don't know about this, Big Hungry, but it was not cool to shop at Skates on 8 back in the day, so it was, bless Pops, he didn't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had this sick ass board, and it was a trip. The thing must have weighed 20 freaking pounds.
For sure.
And it was a Lance Mountain Veriflex board with a knight and shining armor on it, and I was just like, oh man.
Wait, he skated for Veriflex?
Yes, before Powell, like in his like Del Mar days, like his early
something
Del Mar.
I did not know.
Yeah, so that and Veriflex, I guess, kind of was like into making more modern looking skateboards. It was big 10-inch wide when like Powell started doing it.
For sure.
Yeah, so that was, and it had Indy 169.
The Veriflex, I do know the Veriflex team was stacked though.
It probably was Alan Losey and like.
That's what I'm saying. It was
it had some rippers,
hitters,
bro. And Lance, and you know what got me too was that whole thing was the Lance Mountain really was a big impression on me because he had the 1982 cover like of Thrasher, and I had an interview in there, and he's such an interesting dude in the way he skated.
Lance had an 82 cover?
I'm pretty sure it was this purple color cover of him at Del Mar skating through like some water when Del Mar was like all flooded out or something, and I was just like, who is this dude?
And this is when the mag was still paper, right?
That's right. You get like the print on your thumbs by reading it, and it just like Thrasher was such a huge, bro. I mean, it was.
That's crazy.
Kids don't understand. I mean, when I see like dudes from their 30s to my age come into the shop and they look at the mag or they buy the mag, I get that because Thrasher was so heavy on my mind and such an influence. That's all you knew, bro.
Yeah.
In the 80s, that's all you knew.
So then how was that to eventually start seeing Jake so much?
I mean, Jake was somebody...
I know we thought, like, when we start talking about Thrasher, we talk about Jake, and, like, Jake isn't end-all, be-all of Thrasher, you know what I mean?
We didn't even associate about Jake with Thrasher for a long-ass time, you know?
Word.
So he was just... We met Jake when I'm probably around 9th grade, when I kind of started getting more out and about with my board.
Okay.
And so for the first couple years, I just stayed around my neighborhood in the marina. We had a crew, though. I had like a pretty little steady crew. I even met like Arco would come through sometimes, and it was, dude. I mean, there goes another one. Beyond any Thrasher, Arco really. I can't even tell you, what an impression Mike Archimedes made on my life, and like how that was to see Arco for a kid.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
It is. I tell him to this day all the time. I'm like, bro, I try to bring it up. I'm like, we're more peers now. I don't feel like that way, but you know what I mean. He knows. I told him.
Nah, that's what's up. The homegirl who was just here, Kim Woozy, she was talking about like how the impression that little kids get from OGs are just like like adults that are doing the thing versus just doing it with your friends, and like those first impressions make a lot, and like all I can hear from people who talk about Arco from when they were kids, seeing him is just the way he would skate, how stylish it was, just like how personable he was, how chill he was and shit, and like just putting a good way of skateboarding into the hemisphere of if I could do it like that, I'd be hyped.
Man, and
that wasn't no commercial.
No,
that wasn't no marketing.
That's right.
That's just Archimedes living life.
Well, that's right.
Skateboarding.
That's right.
That's
you
skateboarding. Yeah.
Because it wasn't like commercial and like you might see him on an ad, but that wasn't even nothing to us. Like the ad looked cool, but when we saw Mike skate, it's like that impression he left with you. It was long lasting, bro. And like, does that all the things you just said? How like laid back he was and funny and like that whole thing just like set the tone, bro, for how you have to be in this city. Like that's, you see him and like we saw people like Tommy Guerrero and like you just seen how it was done and you're like, this city doesn't play when it comes to skateboarding, and
Was Skates on Hate the first shop that you went up into, or was you going to Concrete Jungle too though?
I went to Fogtown.
Fogtown. Yeah, it was Fogtown first, and then
on Waller. Fogtown was on where Kent pulled up into his like second FTC.
Okay.
So Kent actually ended up moving into that old Fogtown location after he moved from Bush Street with his dad's tennis shop. But then before that, it was Fogtown. It was this. I just remember this guy. He was like a bigger dude, Latin dude named Carlos, and he was cool. But he just looked like just a guy, like a homie that worked there.
Word.
Had glasses, but like I'll be finding out more about him too, and like it's all got its history.
Back then, was you thinking like, man, I would like to fucking have a skate shop one day?
Oh, never. No. I wasn't. A lot of people think that. You know, like kids ask me, was it your dream to? The thing was my homie shop, and it just was going wrong for him, and he had some other situations in his life that came up, and it just like him and his wife, they put kind of like started this project, and they just couldn't really keep it going. So they asked me if I wanted to like step in, and I was like, I wasn't doing nothing, so I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And I saw like what was happening in the Mission. It just like I was saying, you know, like when he told me what it was out on 2-4, I was like, wow, this is. What the hell?
That's Cuddy,
you know,
right?
It is, you know, and like I kind of was like, wasn't
it's still Cuddy to this day, but I'm sure still it was Cuddy. More Cuddy.
It was, and it just didn't, you know, I just didn't see it at first, and because I never spent time out there, and I started going out there once a week, twice a week, and
just working it.
Yep, working behind the counter and just being like, you know, telling me what to do, and I just doing what they tell me, you know what I mean, like just doing the thing, like. Trying to be
and then it got to a point where he was like, all right, I got to fully back out.
Yeah, I just started doing, they started asking me to do more and more, come and work every day. I left my other job, and then they're like, you know, take the money to the bank and shit. I'm like, holy, you know, I'm like, I'm basically doing, you know, I'm
owning the joint.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what it was. Like, so when he said that, it wasn't too crazy. I kind of like, I wasn't ready for it, but I was like, but what kind of like stuck with me, what I saw was, you know, and because of Potrero, you know, I mean, like, damn, and we wouldn't have nothing really without that park, you know. That's you gotta have. It's the two together that really, how we were able to like sustain anything over there.
Because what year was that it got built?
Also, like 2008, like the
2008,
damn next year.
Damn. And so,
just seeing all those kids, you know.
What's one of the most crackingest like events that led the people from the park to the shop? Like what is it? Chili Bowl?
Man, yeah, definitely. It might have been old school Chili Bowl or something like that. I would say, yeah, that was like real big because people were coming from all over, you know, like Brazil or something like that, or like, some international people.
Ever do some y'all do demos on Mission? Like ever just set up the ramps and get crazy?
We have, but like not officially. But we've had it cracking in front a couple times, like just on like days where they close off the street. Because I had a few little jumpers and a little rail like that. Yeah, maybe not as nice as that one y'all got, but. But it was cool. We got put in work on it. We used to, and then we had a bench. We've always had little stuff, you know, that has gotten like, it's tough because it's a lot of traffic. You know, moms and grandmas with their walking their kids and taking their groceries. So it's a complicated thing, but we always navigate it and try to be respectful.
Is the foot traffic? Do you guys get a lot of people just coming and being like, "Oh, I want to try out skateboards"?
I don't think just popping in like that, but that is a lot of our our demographic happened to be. I don't know. Word got around that like I was cool with people that were just starting out skateboarding because you know what I mean. I wasn't thinking of anything really more than we need to sell skateboards to keep this place going.
True.
Because it was already kind of like hitting pretty hard times over there when I got the shop.
Yeah.
And so I knew what it was.
It seems like it's kind of always been a battle keeping that place.
No doubt. Yeah. And there's been, you know, it's, you know, with you know how it is through the year. It's kind of a little bit of ups and downs, but
for sure.
It was tough in the beginning when I got the store, you know, just because we didn't really. I just decided to come at it with like, if we can make it work, we can make it work. But I'm not going to I don't have money to pour into this.
Yeah, but, so it's sustaining itself the way it has.
That's right, yeah. And I just kind of thought that like if I could pour all my goodwill into it and all my good, you know, like, and so I tried to treat people just like best I could when they came in and help them out, even if they weren't spending $1. You know what I mean? Like how what you were saying earlier, just like
leaving a good impression on them.
That's right, because maybe they'll come back. You know, just trying to look more like, hey, these dudes are cool here. I'm gonna, you know, tell my homie about them or something that they. I used to fix boards like. I can't tell you, man. It doesn't really happen anymore because the times are changing. But like, and people probably got a little bit more now. But I would be in there fixing people's boards for the free and just like stressing and struggling with it, but trying to be grateful because there's something behind it. You know, like there's some.
I know exactly. It's happened to me a couple of times where you think somebody's coming in to buy something and you're like, oh, can I just put these bearings in or like switch these shits out, and I'm just like my hands just getting dirty and I'm not making $1 off of it. But it's also like I'd rather be doing this than working at
That's right. Else, and I worked somewhere else for a long time, so I definitely had appreciated the interactions I was having, because the people were so cool, because it would be people like you, and
Yeah,
then
for sure.
and I would end up kind of chopping it up with you, and it's not like some, I don't want to stereotype, but it wasn't like some guy at my other jobs that I've had, like at sporting goods stores, where they're like, hey, get this in me in a 3, 5, 6, and you know, like, and they don't want to ever talk to you.
It was like you were saying, you hadn't really been over on that side of town, like you was, because when you first started, when you got into it and shit, and was you going to EMB?
No, EMB was later. I was more of just I was like hitting points out in the city, like having different skate crews. Like, growing up, like hitting like.
Was you filming and shit, or trying to get photos and shit? Like,
never, no. We would. I mean, photos. I mean, shit. If we could, we would. I mean, I remember Luke and a Tobin being around, and if you could get hot in the session, maybe. I didn't really. I was good, and I Tobin probably has like a few photos of me, maybe Luke. I know Luke's trying to shoot photos of me. It just didn't work out. It just kind of bad luck. Wasn't hitting that day. But
did you ever get like a company start flowing you shit?
Yeah, I got Lightweight sponsored by my guy Justin Gerard. He was a pro for this company called New Deal, and then he had his offshoot brand Profile. I mean, my bad. He did what was it after New Deal? He did
New Deal was a book.
So it was a Schmidt company, right? Okay, it was like him, Danny Sargent, Rick Ivacetta.
Exactly, New Deal, right?
And this other dude from DC.
Damn, so you skating with these homies?
Huh?
You skating with Rick Ivacetta and shit?
Yeah, I was skating with Rick. Yeah, no doubt.
For sure.
I didn't skate with Rick too much.
But Justin Gerard was your homie.
But Justin Gerard was my guy, yeah. Then he broke off and did another company. Like they gave him his own company, like. And he put on a couple of my friends, and maybe like Carl and like my friend Mike. We call him Wing Ding.
For sure.
Turned Mike pro actually. He was killing it for a minute, and I was getting bored from him. He was on New Deal. My bad. This is a little bit before that. And he actually officially kind of sponsored me. Like he would make me feel good and bring me like boards every month.
That's
and
tight.
Like so he kind of looked out for me.
That's probably like that's baked into why. It's easy for you to hook people up when they come in the shop and shit like that, because that's definitely the gratitude that I have whenever I'm doing something skateboard. I'm like, dude, I remember I didn't know shit about this shit, so now if I can teach somebody something or give somebody a little something that makes them more happier, Kodak, bro, chill. I'm all about that. So you kind of seem like a little bit of the industry side of shit with skating, just a little bit.
I also worked in skateboarding for a while after that, like after the EMB days, after I kind of like shit kind of got cold with EMB, and thank you. I worked with this dude Roger. He owned this company called the board company was called Experience, and then he built a wheel brand called like Pure Wheels or something. Okay. And then actually Rick came along with Jeff Pang from New York. You remember him at all?
Yeah,
he's a raw one from New York.
He's Supreme, right?
Yeah, Jeff. And they came out and they linked up with Roger too and did a company called Cream. Okay. And they were doing dope shit and like designing a lot of dope clothes. And then he did Profile, and it was a heavy-ass, dope-ass team with like Stevie Williams, Henry Sanchez.
A skate team or like
Little Lee, Carl, a board company. And it was like looking like it was about to crack, right? Yeah. But he had kind of like spread his shit too thin, bro. He had too much in the pot, and it all kind of like... And I was a sales rep for him. Me and Smythe were for a while.
For real?
Yeah, we worked. He had a cool little warehouse down behind the Chronicle building.
So this is like the makings of the motherfuckers that started going and doing the girl chocolate thing, kind of.
Nah, this is a little bit after Mike and them split out to do chocolate, and so it was kind of around the same time. But like they'd already bounced down to LA and had girl up and going.
And so Smythe was still up here.
So Smythe was still up here for a while.
Real SF low. He said, "Well, I'm staying up here."
Yes, bro.
I gotta get Smythe on.
Nah, for real. So we did. So I was a rep. So we were reps. We'd cold call shops and just be like, "Yo, what up?" Just like, we got a company out here in San Francisco, and like gave us a little bit of cred. You're from San Francisco. It's all gonna happen. They let you get,
And did anybody get a part board for Profile?
I think there might have been a few. It got pretty rocky, bro. It was,
I've seen inside. People seeing that at that time is money being made. So you probably thinking, we starting a company, we about to make money.
Well, that's right.
And that's not the case.
And, and now, I didn't understand all this growing up, and I didn't really understand the ins and outs of that business either, because I'm trying to just do my job and get my check. But as a business owner, now I kind of see things, a little, differently now. and I know what it is kind of to run a company when you have to say no, and it's nothing personal, or if you don't have it, like it's hard to understand why not,
having to say no versus not even putting yourself in a position where you got to have them type of talks is one and the same, but like kind of two different steps in the model, I feel like if you paying attention enough and you got the right mindset going into it, that's a good head start, even though anything is possible, anything can happen, business partners, whatever. But then, knowing when to cut ties or do whatever type shit is like crazy. I mean, it's a trip. Like the Lakai thing is like, I was like not expecting that to happen.
So did someone buy Lakai and they're like, they just cut? They cut the whole crew?
It sounds like it. I don't really know too much of the things. I just
because did it went off back to Soltech or something like that? Is that they had?
That's what I thought had happened back in the day.
That's what I thought.
It's just I'm like
because I think it had been out of Rick and Mike's hands for a while, right?
Well, if you read that damn caption what the dude posted, he says they did lose it and then got back 10% of it. And reading that is like, who knows what that even means, how that even happened.
That's too much to
it's too much to just throw
just
out
to
there.
Make an opinion off that.
Exactly, right? But it's just like, it's just a trip because it's at the end of it, you think about everything that they put out, everything that they did. I was getting shoes from
remember
it.
those? Ooh.
And it's just
I love Lakai. Those videos, bro, they were cranking so hard for a while. Remember that production, bro? They were just 5,000, bro. It was just like so futuristic.
Crazy. Yeah, bro.
Remember, I don't know who was that.
That was a part of like, or is a part.
They made such. I know they can feel good about that. You know what I mean? And I was looking at the list today of all the little like eras of people that rode for Lakai. It's just like, damn. They did so much for skateboarding, bro. Like, I just remember like all those videos, and I used to just love Lakai videos. They were just like done so good, bro. It just felt so sick.
Yeah, man.
Good times, but I
remember when they came out here one time and Cody was skating, and I got some photos of Cody skating Fort Miley. And it was just like a whole little Lakai trip, and like Federico was there and shit. It was like spazzing on fools. I was like, yeah, this is tight.
Right.
Yeah, so shout out to Lakai, man. It's
definitely
just paying attention to it. You just from the outside looking in, inside looking out. There's so many different variables in skateboarding. And then there's so many homies who are just like, bro, I'm just trying to get this check right now. And then in hindsight, it's kind of like, maybe we should have paid attention to this, or maybe, but
that's right.
Things come.
There's mistakes that are made. You're right. There are, and people need to, when they're told they need to get paid, they should be getting paid amount that they said they were going to. And I think it happens as shit gets dropped. The ball gets dropped, and people make bad moves with their money.
So out of all the companies that you've seen, like over the years and stuff like that, like what do you think is like the most consistent thing though for a company to kind of keep its trajectory?
Well,
like from what you see selling to like all of that, you know what I mean? Like what companies, like, do y'all sell Creature?
No, that's a little bit of a complication because I just feel like I'll always like Creature, and we just never went in hard with them, but they always sold pretty well.
That's what I'm getting at, because we get it here and there, but I also get OJs and Indies, so I'm tied in with NHS. But it's also like you got to know your demographic, who's coming to buy boards. Right. But then it's also like, where as a business owner, skate lover, do you start to decide? Where do you start to make decisions? Boom. Okay.
Because we all come from somewhere. I come from out here, and so I know the terrain, I know the landscape, and I know Deluxe, and I know the history of where I come from, and so I don't go into this blindly. You know what I mean? I think about it.
I mean, and then you start to really break down the whole like, why do I not fuck with a company or anything?
That's
like
right.
That? And like,
that's right. You
bro,
gotta ask yourself those questions.
There's some homies that skate for companies. Like Creature, like I fuck with Willis Kimball tough. I fuck with Milton Martinez. You know what I mean? Like Chris
I always thought they were sick. I even liked Al Parton and those dudes. I mean, I don't know these dudes personally.
Lard Vomit and shit. Well, I've been lucky enough to actually meet the homies. Like Milton Martinez had me come to his Volcom Demolition.
Yeah.
Remember that part?
Okay.
I got called to come perform at that shit.
That's sick.
I got this fat ass like huge fucking thing of that cover of him doing a kickflip off the car wash. It's like the Thrasher. I think it's the Skater of the Year cover.
Okay.
But it's like something that can fucking go in the window.
Damn, like a big old thing. That's like a big old thing,
bro. I got it because I was there and I was performing at the end at the party. I'm telling Remy, I'm like, bro, what's up? Let me take that down. Let me get that, bro. That's hard. So you know what I'm saying? So, shit, bro. I'm trying to get the Capitola Classics cracking.
Ooh, okay.
I'm trying to.
You know what? That was a contest from back in the day.
Did you ever go? No,
but we saw it in Thrasher and like Tommy Guerrero and Christian Osoy.
That's the first thing you think of when
I was a kid. That was a big impression too, like seeing Tommy launch off over that car. You know, Tommy Guerrero, I don't, you know, he's such a low key figure, but people don't know how, like, you know,
influential.
People don't know how much of an impact he had on people like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, woo,
City kid
doing his thing and doing a lot of things. Like, people don't know that Tommy did all kinds of stuff.
Movies and shit.
Well, also did BMX and did like music and did artwork, and now he's a different type of musician.
He's going crazy.
Just a talented guy.
Yeah, he's been having punk bands and shit. Now he's
in punk bands, and now he kind of does his more melodic
jazz,
music. He's like his more instrumental, right?
Yeah,
he's
going
more
crazy.
Jazzy,
Shout out to Tommy G.
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to Tommy G.
Real rock star, but like on some chill shit though.
But probably just keeps to himself or whatever. Really I don't know. I don't know what he does. I'm not gonna put his. I wouldn't know his.
And that's what makes him the man, the myth, the legend. Because you meet him in person, and it's like it's just super. What's up? Yeah,
exactly. No, one time he came in.
But then when he's not, when you think about what Tommy G can be doing, it's like this nigga's probably just bought a dragon somewhere or something. Like Tommy G's just crazy, bro. Like you just think of him as
flying out to Japan right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's about to go.
They want to go put him on tour.
Yeah, beer tasting in the Himalayan mountains or some shit.
No, those guys, hey, Hungry, you know what was sick though? What I saw like in skateboarding was like those guys were kind of rock stars back then. And like, because there wasn't so many people and like, so they had their, you know, him.
But see, because Tony is like more SoCal, so like people seeing Tony Hawk or whatever, probably, and like the SoCal dudes, but Tommy G is
Tommy G, and just like I don't know, there would be a crew with Tommy. He had his homie friends, and then he had his music friends. But you'd see them all kind of around, and he had like Arco, I guess Bryce, and like those types of people, Camden, and just the whole little crew that they all rolled with. They're so OGs, and they kind of look like they just had it going on, like with the party life and the girls and the. It just looked like a lot, bro.
If you really like fine-tune, fire and pick this shit, the competition amongst them and whoever, the San Jose, South Bay cats, they was heavy on competitions.
Yeah.
And like Blackheart on some like, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm the shit, you feel me?
Right.
And I'm coming to all competition smoking shit. You got Steve Olson's and all that.
Yeah.
That bravado, I think now is what you see in a street league. You know what I mean?
I mean, it might be.
That's them the first contest. Them the first motherfuckers that's like, what? You feel me? Hasoy, boom, I'm blasting,
Really shirt off, looking hard.
And then that's when they got to the X Games and shit, right? But now you got the street leagues and all that shit, and I'm just like, man, like, I think, me personally, from what I've been looking at, I think a little bit of grassroots, like, just like, if they had the Capitola Classics today, I feel like it'd be sick if a bunch of cats from Deluxe, and from all over, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of cats from Baker, you know what I'm saying? Some East Coast cats.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just make it to where it's cats from all over is bringing it to the NHS zone. Like, as fuck, you know what I'm saying?
So see many people,
it'd be tight to just see, like, okay, like, this is like for, not guts and glory, not hella like, you know what I'm saying, corny. But like, come put that shit to the test, you feel me? Why don't you fuck with that company? Or, why is your company sicker than that company?
Yeah.
Let's see this shit head up. You feel me? I feel like the skate shops need to be the ones facilitating that shit. Like, we got the booths over here. Who you got your money on? You know what I'm saying? I got my money on. Like, it'll just be tight, like, to just bring it like old school shit like that back,
Well, it's interesting what you were saying about what gives a brand longevity. And it's like, it's hard to figure sometimes because I can still sell girl through the shop like pretty good, and I like, makes me happy, makes me feel good because kids might not even know, and I think that just goes to what work they just continually put into it, the love they have for it, the people that they see that have that same kind of love for it, and they know it's in good hands when they bring somebody on. It's kind of like the way that like Anti-Hero does their team. It's like, they're putting people in with good judgment and like people that are really dedicated to
the craft.
To the craft, man, for sure. So
I stay getting girl chocolate.
Definitely, I do.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of new brands too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like stuck with anything like that. I like a lot of new stuff too.
Yeah. I just it's kind of hard to know when to buy. And then, because you got bills and shit, so you're
you're only working with. I never say no because I don't want to. People might think it's I don't. Everyone understands it's a money thing.
Yeah. Hopefully they do. I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of brands I would have liked to have brought on that I just didn't feel like it made financial sense at the time.
But is there a brand though that people have been asking for that you feel like you need to get still?
There was, and I missed on some of that. I'm not gonna front and say that I was like on top of stuff.
Like maybe like the FA shit?
For sure.
For sure, right?
Absolutely. That. Even Baker, we never carried Baker, and I think that was a misstep.
Word.
The FA stuff for sure. I could have reached out and been, more proactive. I know people a little lightweight.
For sure. I can't speak to who you know and shit.
I mean, I'm not saying, I got connections, but I could have tried.
Yeah, for sure. But I also heard when they first dropped, it was super selective.
That's what I heard. I asked Sam just because he's kind of my main connect, and I would go to him because he's got a good insider ear with it.
Word.
And I was like, what's up with getting the boards? He's like, I don't think they open shops up, or so I might have got that word, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not trying to be. We were never hungry. One thing we started, and the first owner, my homie Thorin, was we weren't trying to be exclusive. We just, if FTC kind of, I'm not look, I love FTC,
Word.
And I respect what Kent does,
up.
But I knew we weren't going to be FTC,
and
that's okay, and I was okay with that, and I admire what he did. Believe me, like to this day, it's amazing to me, but we weren't going to be exclusive like that, and I just kind of thought there was directions. I just kind of was like, nah, let's work with the more smaller companies because we're a small company.
Yeah, that's what's up. And how long? So 2007, and then
then I bought it in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you had to buy it from him.
I had to buy it from him, and I didn't know anything. I had nothing, no business sense whatsoever. I had to learn all this on my feet, and in fact, he gave me some crazy figure, and I'd run it by a few people with my girl at the time, who's my wife now.
Yeah.
She was kind of supporting me in that way.
Ride or die right there.
She wanted to see me do something. She knew I loved the shop. She saw it, and she was like, she saw the store firsthand, and she was like, that's a cool spot. The kids like you. They're, I was making good connections with the kids, and that's all there was for me was like Gary and Marcus and, Miguel and, Black T and, all those dudes, Ryan and everybody that like the first, Lil Luyo and like Lil Lo, those are all the kids why I kept that shop open because I was like, dude, these kids love the shop.
Yeah.
Where are they gonna go? Like they're in here like with the bearings and the oil, like putting 5-10 drops of oil. I'm like, you only need 2, bro. It's cool. In a moment, but like let them do it. Just and it's like okay, every day, bro.
Yeah.
God bless because the culture's strong out here, and you learn, and we teach one. We each one teach one out here, so you learn the craft out here. But yeah, man, that's why I did it. Was just for those kids because I just thought like we got to keep it going. This is something with Potrero, obviously. That was
did Rafa and them used to come up in there too, a little Zoe and Django.
They weren't feeling it. They were the younger gen. They saw it and they were like. I think they saw Deluxe and were like, it's cool, but the other older cats, the ones that were just a little bit older than them, like the teenagers, because they were little, they were like hella grommets when they,
and when they first came in, they were like, as soon as they showed like how sick they were, they just started getting laced up. So
that's right. It was a quick upward.
Kind of passed exactly through what the happened. Whole skate
they
shop
skipped me. I thought that would have been a perfect landing, but they skipped right over me, and I was like, damn. So you win some and lose some. It's okay. And and to be honest, I'm an older cat, and I always have been, and so I wasn't connecting at the skate park like that because I broke my ankle at Potrero first week out when that park opened. I compounded both bones of my ankle
how the fuck
at 37, and so
how did you do that?
I was just like, I was having kind of fun pumping around. We didn't know how to skate the thing. Who knows how to skate that place when you first get there? And so like I was just going up on that extension wall and coming back down and trying to ollie over that hip, and somehow I kind of came down wrong, and I just buckled my old ass. It seemed old at that time, So I was off a whole year until I started skating again. It took me 6 months to walk. A year to skate, and then I tried to get back on board, my best I could. And I skated till about 45, and then I just kind of realized I'm a little bit out of touch with it, like physically. I couldn't connect with it as well as I could. And I always had good connection on board, and it didn't feel right.
And you was just like, oh shit.
So I started just kind of. We moved out to Daly City, and I was driving my car to work instead of skating to work like I did every day, and so I was just kind of got to, I knew it was, to me, it just felt time just to kind of rest for me. And I got kids and I got to be on my feet doing other shit.
Yeah. You put in some time on that.
But I did, and I don't feel bad. I mean, I do every now and then feel like, damn, because the homies will call me, like my OG crew will call me, and they'll be like, hey, we're going to blah, blah, and I'll be like, all right. And I just flake out at the last minute because I kind of just feel like I got to save myself for like being old right now. It's just where I just know I'm just listening to my body in that way. But I don't feel bad, man. I put it in, and I tried to put it back in when I got in my 40s. I tried to put it in and always be on board. I didn't go back to Potrero, but my roots are in the street and on the ledges and curbs, and I tried to keep it there.
So when the last time you just actually stepped on the board, though?
Fuck.
You could probably cruise to the store.
Oh, easily. I'm pretty quick to get back to it, too. It just takes me, I mashed out to the bank one day, recently, and I still can kind of mash. Like, I don't skate slow, like, when I go around.
Word.
But I was a little bit more speedy and ollieing around a bit in my 40s, even. I kind of still had a good little smash around.
I got you.
I had to look a little, I'm not a big slappy guy, but I like to do like
it's just like as soon as you get on it, you zapping out.
I could ollie around good. I got cool little moves. Like I always had a few moves on the curb, but it's probably been a month, and I don't really. I got a board in my trunk right now. Like I can
keep the board on you.
Yeah, I grew up skateboarding. It's always been in me, bro. I like.
Say less.
That's why maybe I've always connected well with the skateboard. I never was like Mike and Rick, but
I got you.
But I put in work, and I thought I was coming up for a little bit. It just and that doesn't always work out for everybody, and you gotta be. I just wasn't, to be honest, that resilient like that.
That's what I get from you the most, though. Like even down to when I'm like, damn, I'm tripping on bodies, photos, and the thing, like you've been there, and like people always for sure. I've performed in there, the shop is sick. RBO is just like hella shit has one down up in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like your love for skateboarding is why you are still there. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, definitely.
It's like obviously the connections that you make with the community
is
fuel to the fire. But like hearing you talk about your trajectory, how you even got into it, and why you do it, and how you keeping it going. That's dope to know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to ingrain, like, you was like, I still got my board in the trunk. Like, like, that is the main sauce to how companies stick around, even through the hard times and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And one thing I was thinking about, just skateboarding in general coming over here was that, like, in my generation, for sure, I know it might be a little bit different now because skateboarding is a little bit more what I call wide open, which just means it's more accessible to more people. They're seeing it more, they're doing it more, they're trying it more. Now, they may not stick with it, but when I was a kid, skateboarding wasn't a loose connection. It wasn't something you dabbled in. It wasn't something you might just use to ride to the store. Skateboarding was your life. And when you either skated or you didn't, because people would hate on you for skating, it was an uphill battle. People looked at you like you were kind of whack, like you were fucking shit up, excuse me, but they looked like you were just destroying property, basically. Sure. The older generation definitely didn't know what to make of it. The city didn't know what to do. We got shut down. I got boards stolen at school, and so you wouldn't bring your board to even school. I don't want to go. You know all the stories.
Shit was just gnarly. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to. By the time I got into it, it was just a little bit of personal, like riffraff, like homies being like, "Oh, that's hella stupid," or "That's weak." But
I'm sure
it was culturally accepted enough by enough people to where it's like I could be like, "Well, I don't even need to hang around people who don't do this." Versus back in the day. It was like only you and a couple people who did it, and y'all still had to hang out in the world. Now you can literally only hang out with skaters and shit.
That's right.
If you want to, you know what I mean? Like your crew can be fully focused around skaters.
Reminds me of Larry Redmond too. Just the work he put in, just coming out of Hunters Point, and just like being like one of the first real skaters out of Hunters Point, kind of that I can remember. And just having that dedication that he had, and I've made a real good connection with him through the shop, and always just worked well with him.
So was Larry. He saying we out here before Jamie Hustle was saying it? Do you know?
Oh, that's a good question. Jamie's homie too. The first I heard was Larry. When we started, but I don't want to step on Jamie's toes because they can battle that out.
I mean, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. I'm gonna wait till Larry get out here.
I'll take that.
I had Larry. I invited him to come on. I want him on for sure.
Oh,
that's my thing, bro. I want to interview the homies that I've seen pushing the needle of just the idea of like accessibility to skateboarding.
That's what I mean.
And through all the fucking ups and downs of skateboarding in the industry, like just like how we just mentioned, like one of our favorite companies today, like seems like this shit's rocked. You know what I mean? Like they posting it like it's over with, but we still gonna always be hyped on it. We always gonna keep it fired up, and I'm thankful of that. If there was something going on, and you know what I mean, like it wasn't like they rolled it out. You feel me? You never felt like, oh, this is
last wheel type stuff, like they're broken down or nothing. Nah, it was going strong.
I like that.
Always
you know
felt
what
strong.
I'm saying? To whereas it almost seems like it ain't over.
Right.
Even
You're
though
like, you sure y'all can't just do this for another couple years? Like, come on. Come on, y'all don't love this?
Come on, man.
Quit playing.
That. Get the shit back from that dude. Let's put us on the team. Let's go. Like, whoop. But
bless them for how
so
long
to see Mission Skateshop, for one, to be on Mission Street, on 2-4, all the history that's there, all the you could think about all the mischief that can go down on that street.
No doubt.
You can think about all the good stuff that goes down, all the people that live there, whoop, and for you to be a fixture there and a portal for people to dip into and be able to have accessibility to a sport or activity like skateboarding, and like it never seemed like it was the drive for it was attached to something bigger than just that. You know what I mean?
No, and it wasn't. And like, you know what I was saying about skateboarding being like your number one thing when you know, it's either all or nothing when you're growing up. When I got the store, you know, I was a little bit older and I just kind of thought, you know what, I had that attitude when I was a kid, but now this is time to like embrace the community, and whoever walks through that door, we're just going to embrace them as, you know, an equal, and like no judgments, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to look at you and be like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, not to be like that, but to try to meet them and everyone where they're at. And I think that kind of, it was the thing to do for me. I don't feel, because I feel like I could have gone like another way with it, but I just felt like it was time to be more like open just to everybody. And I like that because it's like your earlier guest was saying, just about like, you know, just bringing that to skateboarding is a good thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how are y'all doing it though? You know what I mean? Like, so what I think I seen on a post like the AMF days. What is that?
What was that?
Some post on the gram. You probably don't even fuck with the Instagram shit, but it was like, thanks for sticking with us through the AMF days, or something like that. I don't know, but
Ozzy might have. He's been doing Instagram for the last for this year, yeah.
But like
I used to do it all the other times.
The moment when like Dying Breed got up in there, like what was that like? You know what I mean? Was it like if I don't? Yeah, I'm sure it was a trip, but like was it like for you like if I don't link up with the homies, then the whole shop as a whole is gonna be done?
I mean, I had some of those concerns. I don't think wasn't quite like totally there yet, but you know, I was negotiating in my mind, and I kept on running into Spooks for a while. Like he was around the neighborhood, and so he was like, "What's up?" He's like, "So let us pop up in here, Scott." I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm cool. Like, why would I want to let y'all pop up in here? Like, this is a skate shop. Like, I like the way it is. Like." Wouldn't you like it like this?
It's a skate
shop. I don't know.
Shop.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like, you wouldn't want to give up. You know, if someone told you, "Oh, hungry, you gotta let me pop up in here." You're
off rip.
I mean, it's a skate shop, bro.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like, we don't really like get down. Like, I wouldn't let inline skaters come up in there. Like, I wouldn't even let longboards come up in there.
I think the idea though that it was just close. It was something. It was like something outside of skateboarding, but still related to clothing and shit.
Right. Yeah.
It made sense to me based on the area.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, based on the area where you was at, where those homies grew up at, everybody, it was like, it kind of became a shared space type of moment.
Yep.
Which, I mean, in naturality, right? You're like, the ball kept rolling.
That's right. And I'm so glad it did. That was the best decision I think I ever made with that store.
Word. That's tight. That's
I mean, shout out Dying Breed. You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's a lot of trepidation going into those types of situations. You kind of feel like, oh God, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't about them or nothing like that. It's just like anybody pulling up into your shop. You know, if it was another shoe company or something, you just think like, oh, here goes my baby. Like, what am I doing?
Well, but that on top of how many they have events. And how many people are in front of your shop? That's a lot to be responsible for.
No doubt. I knew it was going to change the whole. I knew Adon a little bit. You know, I'd sold some of his clothes up in the shop. Okay. You know, like through the years, I knew about his. You know, and he came and he was totally organized with it and had he just seemed so on point with it. And the more I talked to him, I was just like, you know what, this sounds like a pretty good idea. What are you doing right now? Like we had come to a point, kind of what you're saying, like. Rubber was starting to meet the road where we need to the shop was looking a little empty.
Word.
You know, bills were getting paid, but, you know, it was, you know, not easy.
Yeah.
And I thought that, man, it would be nice to get some help. I'd always done it on my own, and I just thought, like, just so, like, these dudes are from the neighborhood. It felt right, you know. True. And I was like, I liked Spooks, and I liked what he was talking about. I got to meet his little crew, and I was like, man, these dudes are cool. Like,
and so now it's back to just straight skate shop.
No, they're still there.
Are they still in there?
Yeah. Oh, okay, so now they've been there I think 7-8 years now doing their thing, and we've just been building and growing together and just having a really just just so nice, man.
So that's what's up, man. So much because I was like, just wondering like what was the trajectory now? You know what I mean? Like
we're you know, we have it's just kind of we're all doing our things, but we try to like work together in a way too. It's you know, we like to keep each other like going. You know, we want to see each other succeed. And so, you know, when we do anything, we try to include, you know, the other.
Yeah, maybe we need to do like a fucking baseball game or a basketball game.
That'd be fun.
Mission Skateshop versus Break Free. Like get the city homies to come out here.
Yeah, because we got a full crew. Like if we put everyone together from both sides, we could get like a cool little group.
I mean, there's going to be a mixed crew. Like it's going to be homies that come to both that's going to be there.
I know.
Yeah.
You could bat for either team. It's all good.
Yeah, man. Any advice for a business owner?
Man, I mean, I would just say you got to be real, and you know I understand it's a passion, but you know, but before anything else, and that's how it should be. You got to go in it for the love, but at the same time, don't let that get clouded with a lot of expectations. And just what I did, and I'm not saying everyone's. You got to kind of like find your own business model in a way. There's no real one to follow. I mean, Kent's got his, and obviously that was very successful.
Yeah.
I got mine, and like I think it's successful, but I'm not sitting. You know, I don't have no BMWs or anything like that.
Word.
But
do y'all sell shoes?
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried. That was a whole nother challenge that didn't.
For real.
Didn't kind of like I maybe wasn't totally up for myself. You know, it just was a little much for just me.
Yeah.
So I kind of like cut the shoes situation.
Word.
But you know, just be you know that there's got to be some decisions made where it's gonna be like, you know, you have to have a little bit of a plan. You know what I mean? And watch, you know, you can't do everything you want to do, but hopefully you get to do what's important, and that, you know, and just meet the community and just build with them. And
fuck yeah, bro.
You know, I feel blessed that man, let me tell you, all the years and hours I spent inside that shop, but man, I wouldn't take it back or anything like that. And just all the cool people I met. And it's not like you were saying, it's not like the type of people you're going to meet in a skate shop environment is so much more interesting and cool to me than it does like at some like Target job. No judgments, you know what I mean? Like everyone's got to get fucking pay the bills.
I mean, in the skate shop, you have to be, the conversations are more abundant, you know what I mean?
That's right. I get to know people.
Yeah.
Build boards for them.
I look at a skate shop kind of like a bait shop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You come in for your fishing rods.
Yeah.
You're real. And it's all the same thing to catch the same kind of fish, but it's different brands.
Yeah.
It's photos of people on the wall with the big fish they caught.
Big trout, yeah.
Different bait. Oh, I want these kind of worms.
The rivers are like skate parks and stuff, wherever they're from, the little skate parks that they go to.
Yeah. There's the water hole in Tracy or something like that, you know?
The Bay off Antioch is the one. And then,
Oh, bro. What's the best taco spot for you? Like, I mean, I know y'all got Taco Vallarta right next door.
We got Vallarta's back open.
But like, you a real city motherfucker, so like.
Yeah, I usually.
What you claiming?
I gotta just confess though. People that know me though, they know I stay steady with my turkey sandwich every day that I make in the house. I must have ate 2,000 freaking turkey sandwiches, bro. And people joke about it, and they'll be like, "Oh, Scott, got that turkey sandwich?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes, I do," because I came out one of the first year, you know, like first couple years eating around the neighborhood. I loved it, but I was like, "Bro, if we're gonna do this, you know, you better tighten up the game a little bit." And so I kind of just did. I tried to make. I just thought it was the right thing to do.
I think that's good business advice right there. Just because you own a business don't mean you can't.
Not much of a splurger.
Make your fucking dinner and bring it to.
I was just happy to be there, have the doors open. Selling skateboards always made me happy. And people are always really happy to get a skateboard. And there's and I know you feel it too. There's a feeling you get selling a skateboard that's a little bit different, you know, than just selling like somebody. I'm sure like, you know, people that sell food get it too, but like when you give someone a skateboard, it could be a pretty cool thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I just feel blessed about that.
Dude, I remember you was telling me about a story about like Jake, like right after Trans World had like went out of print.
Yeah.
He was like right there, like finally.
He's cold like that, you know. When that was
I think maybe I don't think it was that direct. Or maybe
no, but I think it might have been.
You was saying that he came and he used to walk in every day or every, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he just come in and just talk a little shit,
and then just come look at the mag though. Like he's like, this is how you fucking keep up with your competition if you're paying attention to him or something like that. Like
he would, you know, I'm sure he respected Transworld and what they did. I you know, I don't doubt that at all. But
for sure.
You know, Jake would cut you off real quick. You know, like without you know. So,
shout out to Jake.
Shout out to Jake for sure for leading the way.
The homie.
Yep, for sure.
Well, shit, G.
Man, thank you for having me, bro.
Really, appreciate
liking
it,
what you're doing out here.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
Mission Skateshop in the building, man.
Yes,
shout out to Dying Breed.
Yes, Dying
Shout
Breed.
out to all the homies that
Ozzy.
frequent that spot. Shout out to Ozzy.
Yep.
Hey, 2-4. We love you, baby. See y'all later.
Peace.